Yes, I thought I'd do it in the garden as it's so beautiful, but it's a bit awkward with the seagulls. The gulls tend to make a lot of noise around here, and that's why I wake up very early in the morning. Anyway, we'll see how we go. My name's Penny, and I was going to say pleased to meet you, but if you're a new viewer, thank you for joining me, and you're most welcome. If you're an old viewer, not an old viewer, a regular viewer, then you know what the score is, don't you? So I'll just say hello. So there we are. That's it. They're always hard to start, these little films. I find them so anyway. And I know I've heard other people, they have several false starts. But I'm hoping this isn't going to be a false start, that this is just going to go smoothly. And really, I haven't got anything, planned. I haven't got a fascinating fact. I haven't got this, I haven't got that. But I thought, do you know what? Make it easy on yourself. Just come and say hello and have a chat. I know I like listening to people that are just having a chat about what they've been up to, just to say hello. And I know several of you, are knitting while you're listening, and yeah, just keep you company, don't I? So that's what I thought I'd do. I'd come on and say hello. Where shall I start? Well, since I saw you last, Pete and I have been away. We went away just for 4 nights, and we find that's enough for us at the minute. And we went to our favourite, well, one of our favourite places. We've got so many favourite places, but the favourite place at the moment, because the staff are so wonderful, they look after us so well, and because step out of the front door and you're on Dartmoor and you're walking by the river, and quite frankly, what more do I want? Well, at the moment, not too much more. I live by the seaside, so I've got the seaside. We love water. Well, of course, one thought led to another this morning. I was thinking about water, and the trees, we said when we were there, I mean, it was, I think, the 8th of July when we went away, something like that. And we looked at the trees and we said, they look like early autumn. And then, of course, I was, loving, anyway, waffle. I looked up water and how it defies gravity to go to the top of a tree, it's that action. And they've had a lot of water there. I mean, tons of water, but certainly the trees looked more autumnish than they did July-ish. Anyway, what that all means, I don't know. This plant here, I'm going to turn you round at one point and show you it. It's one of my favourites. They're getting their little hats, and oh, it's so beautiful. When I've taken the camera out of the, clamp thing, I'll show you what it's like. Exactly. What a beautiful day we've had. Pete and I went out for our walk. As you know, we try and get out every day. And at the minute, we're just walking. We've got 2 walks that we do, one round the farm and one round the seaside. And both are at the bottom of our road. Our house backs onto the farm and the seaside's just down there. So we've been doing the seaside every day because it's just so beautiful. The children haven't broken up here, and I don't know, it's very calm and peaceful. So I'll put a little bit of film up here just of our walk. It's not even a minute, but it'll just show you, if you're new, what our walk looks like. Anyway, so what can I show you? Cozy kitchen fibres. That's my friend Frances. Last year she went to Ali Pali and she bought some fabric and she bought a ball of wool. She can't knit and she can't sew, but of course now she can sew because she watched my videos on quilting, and yes, she's doing her quilt. It's taking a while, but these things do, don't they? And I'm really, really pleased. She's loving it. But I said to her, are you going to learn to knit then, to use your ball of wool? And she emphatically said no, definitely not. So I said, would you like me to knit you something? And this is the, oh no, I've got the pattern in there. Hang on, it'll come to me. Sunset Skies. It's the Sunset Skies, and you know I've done it several times because for each of my family, each of the women in my family, I knitted after Mum died. I knitted them one. I either did Silver River Shawl or Sunset Skies by Helen Stewart. This is Sunset Skies, but normally I do it in stripes, and I just use oddments, quite frankly. You need 90 grams of one colour, the main colour, and then oddments of other colours. But Frances quite emphatically said, I don't want oddments. I want it all in one colour. And here it is. There's enough colour in this wool. Half wool, half silk. Can you see the purples? The lime. Yeah. She loves it, and I do too. So I only had 100 grams, so it's a little bit smaller than if I'd used the 90 plus all the stripes. It's about that much smaller, and it's fine. It's lovely. So there we are. I think my neighbour's doing some gardening. So that was what I wanted to talk to you about. I think she's going to like that when she gets it. And I'm pleased to have done it, because to have that ball of wool knowing it wouldn't have been knitted up, I'm very happy to have done it. And then a lovely viewer who's joined me recently started watching from the beginning, getting the whole story, aren't you? 3 years now it is. Oh, I hope that wind's all right. And she said, I made a little cotton rabbit, his little tail, but he's a mouse. I called him Duncan because I said he was a seafarer. He looked more like a rat to me, and someone who'd be on the boats. And so she said, why don't you call him Seamus, sea mouse? And I thought, what a good idea. So he's called Duncan Seamus. And that was episode 6. I did write down the date. Let me see. When was it I did it? 16th of August 2021. That's when I knitted him. And yet you still feel a new one. Anyway, my friend went to the beach tunnels at Ilfracombe in North Devon. And we've been to North Devon so many times, but I've never been to the beach tunnels. And they look fascinating. In 1820, there's this sort of natural, but not in 1820, there's always been this natural pool, the way the rocks come round, very safe bathing, 2 of them. And so they decided to get the Welsh miners, and they hewed through the rock 6 tunnels to get to this particular place, because it was a beach that couldn't be reached, you know. You just couldn't get there due to the natural way of things. So the cliffs and everything. And it turned Ilfracombe from a small, tiny fishing village into, yeah, quite a town, because people used to come and visit, and they still do. You have to pay £3 to go through the tunnels, but it is another world when you step out. I mean, I've only seen my friend's photos. I'll put a couple up here and you'll see what I mean. Well, the women used to bathe in one, and then round the corner through the other tunnels, the men used to bathe. The men could bathe naked, but the women had to be fully clothed. Don't get me started on that. Anyway, as you know, my parents, well, maybe you don't know, but my parents were naturists. So yeah, I think it's lovely to do a bit of swimming, and how hard it must have been for women swimming completely dressed, you know. Not a part could be shown, they said. Anyway, they had some etiquette for girls and etiquette for boys, and that was put up on the notice board, as it were. I thought I'd read you it. So it said, answer the etiquette for guide for girls. Answer your letters soon after they are received, and do try to reply to them with some relation to their content. A rambling, ill-considered letter is a satire upon your education. Unusual words there, aren't there? When you talk, keep your hands still. Yes, sir. Attach as much importance to your mind as to your body. Well, we're into all that now, aren't we? Yeah, how important the mind is as well as the body. But there we are. They're telling the girls that. Be natural. A pure diamond is better than a good imitation. Okay. Get up in time for breakfast. Okay, I never did when I was a girl. I never ate breakfast. Try to be sensible. Oh, it's not a particular sign of superiority to talk like a fool. Avoid causes of irritation in your family circle. Do reflect that home is the place in which to be agreeable. Oh, how nice that is. Yeah, I think that's lovely. Be reticent. The world at large has no interest in your private affairs. Well, I think I better switch off the camera then, don't you? Well, be truthful. Avoid exaggeration. If you mean a mile, say a mile, not a mile and a half. If you mean one, say one, and not a dozen. Well, yes, I agree with that. That's what they were teaching girls then. Let me tell you the boys' one. We've got the parakeets now as well as the gulls. I've come down the end of the garden. We'll see how we go. I'm surrounded by hollyhocks and goodness knows what. This is where I used to be with the chickens, but it's all grown up wild now. It's absolutely beautiful. And why not let the wildlife have it? So where was I? Oh yes, I was going to tell you about the boys, wasn't I? Let me just get it up. So that was the girls. I've got to learn to be more reticent. Well, the boys respect... Oh, let's get rid of that. The boys, respect your father and mother and give them their proper titles at all time. Okay, learn to respect women. Never speak slightingly of their worth, nor trifle with their name. Learn the lesson now, and you'll find it valuable in your manhood. Guard against a profusion of slang that would do credit to a pickpocket. Oh, I love it. Be determined not to use profane expressions in the presence of ladies, children, or ministers, or anywhere else. Learn to help yourself occasionally. It's quite possible that you should be able to arrange a necktie, comb your hair, or get articles together for a fresh toilet without calling someone to your assistance. Quite possible and vastly convenient for other members of the household. Lower your voice sometimes. Everyone is not deaf. Remember to remove your hat when you enter a house, private office, hotel, elevator, if ladies are present, when you bow to a lady, or when you offer to assist a lady. Well, that's etiquette guide for boys. So there we are. That's what we should be teaching the young guys today. It tickled me though to have that there, but certainly it's the most beautiful place. So what else was I going to talk to you about? Oh yes, we went. The first day we got there on holiday, we went to Cockington, and it's a village near Torquay, 2 miles from Torquay, and it's officially been documented in the 10th century. Alric the Saxon, his family owned it in 1048 to 1348. Yeah. Then the Carey family, they had it from 1541 to 1616. And then the Mallock family, they were silversmiths, and they had it from 1654 to 1932. And then they sold it to Torquay Corporation. Well, Agatha Christie, she regularly visited there, and she dedicated Why Didn't They Ask Evans to the Mallock family. And the Mallock family there, they used to hold amateur dramatics, and Agatha was persuaded to take part, and she overcame her crippling shyness. The forge, if you look at my little film at the end, there's a forge, and that has been in the same place for 500 years. And the church, I'll just show you a very brief bit inside the church. That's been there since 1069, and it managed to escape from, Henry VIII getting rid of all the churches and all of that. The Reformation, is it? Anyway, the church has been there as well. So it was once a medieval deer park, and now it's cricket grounds. But it's a beautiful place, and I hope you enjoy the little film at the end. It's the coolest of breezes and the beautifulest of days. It's 25 to 5 now, so I've really enjoyed the day, but just that gentle wafting of that breeze. I know what it sounds like in the microphone, so I decided to come in. So I'm reading just my story, I call it, just about my life. And yeah, people say they quite enjoy listening to it. So as this is just a little quiet chat, this is the next part of my story. I've got some photographs to put up about, I think I found a photo of my school and my classroom. I talked about that last time, I think. And also of my friend living in Nursery Street, number 22. And my friend's sister went round there and took some photographs. So I'm going to put those up as it is now, because I think the street is listed. Obviously it's had all new windows. It's not like it was. I mean, it was very, we're talking early 50s here when I went round there. 50s, yeah, middle 50s. But yeah, it's got all new windows and doors and all of that, like they do now. But it's still of the, the atmosphere of it. And also, just as I said, walking to my little school, I passed Bruce Castle, yeah, where Robert the Bruce, he owned the land, and when he became King of Scotland, he sold the land. He had to, because, yeah, he had to, and that was his castle there. So that was the castle I used to walk past. So in the middle of Tottenham, honestly, it's quite a little niche area, I think. It still is. Anyway, that's something else, isn't it? I was 6 when Mum became pregnant, I had a habit of getting into Mum and Dad's bed in the middle of the night because I always woke up and felt scared, and the only consolation for me was to creep into their bed. I never wanted to wake them up. I just stood at the side of the bed until Mum's eyes opened and she saw me and said, "Do you want to get in, love?" I'd answer a quiet "yes, please," and she would shuffle over to Dad's side of the bed. This didn't leave much room because Dad was quite big and the bed was the usual 4'6". I literally lay on the edge, not wanting to put Mum out too much, but knowing I couldn't go back to my own bed. Anyway, on this particular night, January the 9th, 1956, I crept in as usual, and Dad was there on his own. "Where's Mum?" I asked, my eyes wide open now. "Gone to the hospital to have the baby. Get in, we'll see her in the morning," he replied sleepily. I couldn't believe it. She'd left in an ambulance all alone to have my brother or sister, and I hadn't heard her or said goodbye. I suddenly felt excited. What would it be? A boy or a girl? I don't know what I hoped for. People would guess what they were having. Women would make predictions, but until the baby was born, no one knew. No such thing as scans. I just had to wait. I also couldn't believe that Dad could turn over and go back to sleep, snoring as usual. Well, he did, and I remember feeling quite cross with him. No other option, I cuddled up to him and went to sleep as well. In the morning, he took me to Nan and Grandpa's house in Leytonstone, and Grandpa said, "Ethel, get a large Neapolitan brick, we'll celebrate." Grandpa loved ice cream, and so did I. It was a real treat. We would have a packet of wafers and some tinned fruit with it. Teas with Nan and Grandpa were winkles, cockles, jellied eels, plenty of salad with a pint glass on the table, which held a head of celery and brown bread and butter. They had a fridge and a peculiar smell in their kitchen scullery. It was a mixture of salt and herbs and a product called aromat. We didn't have a fridge, and the excitement of having lots of ice blocks every time I visited was great. I always volunteered to get them from the freezer compartment, and after the metal tray was prized from my fingers, for the cold always made it stick, it was run under the tap to free the large blocks. I don't remember what happened to me whilst Mum was in hospital, and neither could she when we chatted about it. She was in hospital quite away from home, and she said the experience wasn't at all like the one she had when I was born. She was glad to bring Chris home. Yes, it was a boy, Christopher, that's my brother. A cold, foggy, snowy January. It was as well, I remember. I remember walking back from school and the snow being really thick on the ground, and there's the new baby and all the nappies drying round the fire, and quite something, I think, quite something. No disposables, no dryers, no washing machines really, unless you got that one out I described last week and you just put it all in and heated it all up, and the thought of doing that after sleepless nights, quite something. Anyway, that's where I got up to now, and I'll carry on and do a little bit next time. So I'm going to say goodbye now, and I put up the little film. I just put a little bit of the garden because I did say I'll show you the flowers, and then it'll run into our first day of our holiday, Cockington. Where else did we go? I think that's it. Yeah, just the drive through Exeter to get to Cockington, and then we drove on to see D'Oyly Cart's house, Gilbert and Sullivan, I always forget the name. Yeah, Gilbert and Sullivan, the Pirates of Penzance and all of that. So that will be a film of their house and a little chat about them next time. So I look forward to that. And until then, keep your eye out for me and take care. And I'll see you soon. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.
So yeah, that one there that says the house that moved, it was actually almost where these cars are parked now.
Really?
And what they had to do to orchestrate this new road system, they had to physically, because it's Tudor and it's made of mostly oak and beams, it's not a great deal of block work and heavy brick. They had to physically jack it up, stick it on wheels and move it into that position and then secure it there. Isn't that something else? And they managed to keep it upright. It's like a stiletto heel. So it's soaking wet, let you see how the water's coming down, but underneath, bone dry. Bone dry.